Tonight. Let me try it again. What a blessing it is to be alive tonight. We thank God for the gift of salvation, and we thank God for the gift of His beloved Son offering us everlasting life. Brother Hurd has shifted how we start our classes, which I think is a wonderful idea. We start off with praise reports. Instead of prayer requests, we end with prayer requests because some prayer requests will be generated organically out of the class. So we want to start you off with one praise report. Brother Kendon Green, Dr. Green's son, received his liver Sunday night. Can we give God praise? Amen. So not only did he receive a liver, but I was able to move from ICU within about 24 hours. He's now awake, alert, walked today for the second time. So we give God praise that he's on the road to recovery. So please keep him in our daily prayers. Always thanking God for you're done with your treatment. We give God praise for that. Deacon Levine is done with his treatment, so that's some good stuff. Anybody else got a praise report they want to start off with? Well, glory. What we thank God for all that He has done this week. Just in the way of announcements, don't forget that you will be able to come to your church to vote. Early voting starts in 1 week. Amen. And you need to vote. Are y'all with me? If you don't, we got some trouble on the horizon. Let's welcome Dr. White. God bless you, Dr. White. Come sit down. God bless you. We love you. You need to vote. You need to vote. It's very important for each one of us to vote and be attentive to what's going on in our society. And when you vote, also pray. Vote and also pray. So let's keep those things in mind. Let's also remember that the end of the year programs and all of that wonderful stuff is coming up very quickly. So we want to keep that in mind that we have a lot of things happening over the holidays to end the year. Christmas at Oak Gardens, and we look forward to all of those phenomenal activities. Tomorrow, if you want to be a blessing, the nursing home led by Brother Kelly at 11:30. What time is the nursing home, Brother Kelly? 11. At 11 o'clock, the nursing home will take place. If you want to find some joy in your life, you ought to stop by the nursing home if you get a second. It only takes you about 20 minutes. The service is only about 20 minutes, but it is serving those who cannot get out. So let's keep that in mind. And that's a lively one. They more lively than y'all are. Yeah, they'll shout with you and they have good church witches. So let's keep all of those elements in prayer. Are there any announcements that I might have missed? Those are all the announcements that I have at this time. We want to give way to Brother William White. Didn't he do a phenomenal job last week? Let's give God praise for him. And we're about to get into our budget sheet and get ready. If you notice, let me show you what budgeting looks like. Y'all see how that's clear? When you give, you get products. Look at that. You can see the screen for the first time in 100 years. So, can we thank God for Nichelle budgeting the church's money so we can get a projector? Amen. And we needed one too. I don't know why they didn't do it when I was teaching, but they get it because I was up on the wall like this right here. And God said, but Brother White got us. I told him, don't put it up until we finish talking about money because they're going to think. But anyway, come on, let's celebrate Brother White and thank God for the gift to the body of Christ he is. And let's be attentive and let's listen and let's grow.
Thanks, Doc. Test, test, test. Make sure it's on. Test, test. Let's make sure. Let's see. Is it on? Test, test. We looking good? Okay, there we go. There we go. Well, good evening. Y'all doing all right? That's my Doc. Yes, sir. All right. Well, I am super excited again to be in front of you. I'm grateful always for the opportunity to be able to talk about finances, especially from a biblical standpoint. Um, Tonight, it's about us. It's about you. It's about how we get better. Okay. It's gonna be some exercises that we do tonight that are going to be talking about how we budget. Okay, we're going to be spending a lot of time here. There's going to be some work that we're going to be doing. Something I didn't do last week, I'm going to go ahead and do it this week. Any time that I'm speaking, I want to establish credibility. I don't want you to think that I'm just some guy teaching. Okay, so y'all saw that last week. This disclaimer, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's me. I am founding partner at Forge Link Financial. We're a fee-based financial planning, wealth management, insurance solutions firm based here in Dallas, clients all over the United States. I am also a registered fiduciary financial advisor. And then I am what's called a chartered financial consultant. So we do holistic planning, everything from estate planning, retirement planning, education planning, any type of planning that is centered around finance. That's what we do. Those are my degrees with the Southwestern Oklahoma Christian schools. Been in the financial sector ever since I graduated from B school. I've worked with over 1,500 businesses and families in my tenure. Shout out to the king, husband of that fine thing right there. And then originally from Kansas City, and y'all know where I go to church. All right. So yeah, that's what we do. And that's my partner. He was here last week. His name is Marty Ezel. So he's the other partner of the firm. And so that's what we do. Budgeting. That's the first thing that we do with our clients. Business succession planning, protection planning, estate planning, charitable giving, investing, retirement planning. Those are all the things that we do. So this is my practice. This is what I do. Okay. So here's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to do a recap of last week. Last week was fun. Last week was really fun. If you weren't here, man, it was really fun. So we'll do a recap. Story time. We'll talk about the principles of a great budget. Okay. Then we'll talk about the order. That's going to be big. And then this is whenever we'll talk about budgeting, and then we'll do our group activity, and then we'll talk about what's for next week. All right. So let's get to it. So let's do a recap. One of the biggest things that I always want to make sure you know is what's going on in the world that affects your money. Okay. So one of the biggest things is the tax changes that's happening in 2026. It is projected that you will take home less money because you're spending more in taxes, and you will have less deductions. And so it is critical now that you look at your budget and your finances. That's why we're doing it tonight, to get a start on what are some of the things that you can do to really be in a place that's comfortable and that's manageable. Okay, when 2026 comes, because your check gonna be less. Okay, everything is God. Okay, or just the manager thereof. Okay, we talked about how the church is declining as far as attendance. Okay, more churches are shutting down than opening. So what does that happen to the people of God who are trying to bring resources into the storehouse? Okay, 2,350 times the Bible talks about finance or possessions. Okay, 15% of what Jesus talks about is about possessions. Okay, so it's very important whenever we talk about that. We also talked about God's wrath. Talk about what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. Once fruitful, now it's not because of the disobedience for charity and plus the other things that were going on. Talked about, depart from me, ye worker of iniquity, I never knew you. Have you not prophesied in my name? Which means that they were religious, but guess what they didn't do? When I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was thirsty, you didn't give me drink. When I was sick or afflicted, you didn't come see about me. And so the people of God, we have a call, if we're his, to really use our resources for the purpose of people who need help. And that's the hope that we want to give with our finances. That's the hope that we want to share with people. That's Jesus to some people. Amen. And so we talked about God's wrath whenever we don't do those things, and going into living the funnel life. Remember the difference between a funnel and a cone. Difference is what? Very good. The difference is one reaches capacity, the other one never does. Because you understand the concept that you're a conduit, you're a vessel. And so it's so important that you are content with the giver and understand that all blessings flow from him. And so if you continuously live that funnel life, meaning that you understand that giving is a part of what you're supposed to be doing, you'll be blessed. And then your funnel can increase because God sees that over little things you've managed well. So he then will give you more things. God is a steward of his blessings, just like he calls us to be a steward. Okay. And so this is a part of the foundational principles that you have to have in order to understand what biblical finance is. Biblical finance is simply about how do I, with the monies that I get, bless God, his kingdom, and then how do I balance everything with the things that I want to, right? Because there's things that you want. You're human. But at the same time, how do you put it into perspective? Okay? Any questions on last week? Any questions on last week? All right. Well, good deal. Story time. So, when I was in the 8th grade, I went to an academy, Sumner Academy School of Arts and Science in Kansas City. It was 8th through 12th. It was the magnet school of our district. There was a gentleman there by the name of Robert. Robert was crazy smart, like Rain Man smart, for those who know what Rain Man is. And so he was in Miss Whitney's class. This was a Spanish class. And he was able to speak Spanish and everything, right? This white guy, but he was awesome, you know. But it was crazy because he had an F in most of his classes. And you get kicked out and sent to other schools whenever you're not passing. And so the question was, why is it that he has an F? And so what Miss Whitney did, Miss Whitney was like, you know what? Let me go and see how his locker looks. When he went to his when she went to his locker, the locker was filled with papers everywhere. It was filled with junk. Nothing was organized. And so it was crazy. So she said, you know what? You're not organized. Here's what you were supposed to turn in last week. And this would have got 100. You did perfect. Why are you not turning these things in? He's like, well, I don't know. Just by him doing that and getting organized, and the teacher saying, you know what? Let me help you. Let me help you get organized. Okay? What ended up happening was he went from F's to C's within 2 weeks because his teachers allowed him to be able to cash those things up to show that he did it, but he had no organization. He didn't have a rule over the things that he knew and the things that he was doing. And so I tell that story just to say this. Organization is the number one. It's 70%. 70% of what you need to be doing as far as your finances. That's 70%. A lot of times when clients come to me and I'm working with them, literally they're unorganized. And so we organize them and then everything has synergy. Starts working like gears. Works together. Okay? So here's some principles to a great budget. I'm not going to talk too long tonight because we're going to really do some diving in and some work on budgets and work on, some of the things that you can do better. Okay? So, number one, understand the order of your obligations. Number one is God. Dr. Day did an awesome job on Sunday talking about how the Lord should be first. Everybody remember that? Was everybody at church on Sunday? No? Okay. Well, let me tell you what Dr. Day said. Oh, Lord. I think everybody was. Okay. All right. Well, Dr. Day, if you can remember, he talked about the Lord being first because all your different items will then be blessed. And that is a real thing. That is a real thing. I'm going to tell you a personal story. I started my business back in 2014, and Bay can attest to this. We were broke, okay? We were dead broke. So I made my first little money in June. It was a good check. Like, oh, man, we're going to get caught up. And we were getting organized, and it was like, man, the tie thing. You know what? Nah. Church got enough money. I'm going to forego that. I didn't see another check for 8 weeks. Okay? And so then that check came. It was another pop. Leaving that paycheck to paycheck, right? Another pop. I was like, oh, man, we're going to get better. And I did the same thing again. I didn't get paid for another 6 weeks after that. Okay? And then I was like, you know what? Got another check 6 weeks later. And I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and tithe. Let me go ahead and do this. Do you know that the next 2 days, money was coming in? I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, okay, let me tithe again. The next day, I'm not joking. My wife is right here. She can attest to this. When we started tithing and putting God first in our lives, everything started flowing. Everything started flowing. And you know what? Guess what I did too? I tested it. I was like, man, this ain't real. This ain't real. So I did tithe 1 week. Whoa, Lordy, Lord, we talk about the faucet shut down. I was like, and we had rent due. Oh my Lord. So ended up, we did that tithe, faucet turned back on. I am a living testament that we don't play that in our house. God gets money first because that order gives us order. That order gives us order. Okay. And then you're next. A lot of times what we do is we want to put other relationships, including financial relationships, in front of ours, in front of us. Because guess what's going to have to happen? Guess what happens to you if something happens? Good, what your people are not going to get paid. And so having a principle of you putting back money as well for yourself is essential for your planning. Whether it's, we'll talk about later in other classes, but we'll talk about retirement planning, investment planning. We'll talk about some of those other things. But it's so important that you sustain yourself as well than everything else. Okay, so your debts, household items, everything like that. Any questions on that? Any questions on that? Okay, we rocking. Let's keep going. So, excuse me. Here's some basics on budgeting. The basics, you got two things. You got money that comes in and money that goes out. It's that simple when you start. And knowing is the power. Knowing what's coming in and then what's going out. A lot of times what happens is from subscriptions all the way to stuff that you didn't have before, we don't know what's going on and what we're paying for. And so that knowing is half the battle. Because when we know, we can deal. Okay? So there's different methods for budgeting. Pen and pad. Okay? Some of the people, they still want that feeling, right? They want the feeling of being able to write these things down and say, these are our obligations. Okay? One of the drawbacks to pen and pad is sometimes if you don't have it scheduled, you might miss something. Okay? So there's drawbacks for all of these. So I'm going to get to the pros and cons. Spreadsheet. That's what we use. Okay? So spreadsheet. You're going to see one in front of you here shortly, what we actually use. And we've been using since we were married in 2013. There is a running log. I can go back right now and I can say, man, babe, remember when I got that traffic ticket? Lord have mercy, I had to pay that. That was $370. Ooh, Jesus. I can see where we've come from, right? I can see the debts that we've paid, cars that we've paid, because we've kept a running tally of everything that we have accumulated and everything that we've paid, okay? And then, so the drawback to this is it's static. It's not ebbs and flowing, okay? Which means that you have to be disciplined to put everything on the spreadsheet, okay? You have to be disciplined. You have to have a rhythm. We're going to talk about that rhythm here in a minute, okay? Last but not least, apps, okay? There's a few apps that are out there, Rocket, some other ones, Mint. There's some apps that are out there that are directly connected to your credit cards, things of that nature. So those are some good ones. However, one of the drawbacks on that is you could kind of manipulate it to where it works in your favor, and it's not an honest assessment of what should be coming in, going out. So in all of these things, you have to be careful, but guess what? The one thing about all of these three is that you have to have one. You have to have a method of how you track your income and expenses. Above all that, okay? So those are the methods, all right? Now, let's talk about rhythms. 4 P's. Pause, pray, plan, pay. Pause, pray, plan, pay. Pause. You had money come in. Try your best not to spend as soon as the money comes in. Pause. And then you pray. The prayer that you should be thinking is two specific things. Number one, God, thank you. Number one is the gratitude. Okay. But then number two is, God, pray. I'm praying for discernment over this money of what I should be using this for, right? And who needs help as well. Okay. One of the things we talked about last week is if your finances are just for you and your resources are just for you, it's a problem that you might need to fix. Because what we talk about in Matthew 25, depart from me, you worker of iniquity, he equated not using your resources for the people in need. Okay? All right, so let's keep going on that. And then you plan. Okay, so that's your budget. And then you pay your bills. All right, so that's a good rhythm that you can adopt. Pause, pray, plan, pay. Okay? Let's see here. How do you get paid? You're obligated. So some people get paid once a month. You're on what's called a 26 pay, which means that you get paid every other week. A 24 pay, which means that you get paid twice a month. It is very different. Those two checks that come in the year, it can be a big difference between the 24 and the 26 pay, even though you get paid the exact same. And we'll talk about that later on lesson 4, about even whenever you're paying off credit cards. That's going to be a huge deal of how you're able to spin off the credit cards and pay those down. So we'll talk about that as well. But you got to know when you get paid, okay? Next, keep good timing. Keep good timing with whenever you pay your stuff. It helps with your credit, your credibility, that little number, right? Credit score. It helps with that because guess what? That's a relationship. That score says, how do I keep this relationship? And that communicates to all the different people that you might want to get in business with. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And then put your payments on a calendar. Okay. I know each week when I get paid or my wife gets paid, we have a rhythm of what that looks like. And our bills are associated with all of those. Okay. Any questions on rhythms? Any questions? Yes, sir.
So when you say put your bills on the calendar, you talking about like what you paid, or you saying just when you need to pay them?
When you need to pay them. So, and you'll see here in this worksheet, whenever we put them in, everything having a date is what I'm alluding to, right? And so, for instance, if you get paid once a month, pay everything once a month. Right? As best as you possibly can. If you call your people and you tell them, hey, listen, I get paid once a month. I would like to pay you on this date. Some people will say, no, we can't do that. But some people will. And they'll be like, yeah, we can adjust and move your date. Right? So you being active with that, they'll appreciate that, man. This is a different call. This is a different person. They actually want to keep up with the relationship. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. If you calendar it out, if you get paid once a month, pay once a month. If you get paid every 2 weeks, make sure that your bills are associated with those every 2 weeks. And we'll talk about that on the spreadsheet here in a minute.
Brother,
Great question. Yes, sir.
I got the people that I work with that don't believe this. If you pay on a schedule, you get a couple of times a year where you get an extra check.
That is correct. That is correct. If you pay on a schedule. In a 13-week span, you typically get typically an extra check if you're on a 24 or 26 scale. Okay. Yeah, definitely on the 26. On the 24, not so much, but on the 26, you definitely do. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, Lord. All right. Staff meeting tomorrow. Okay. All right. No other questions? Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so let's budget. All right. So we are here to the spreadsheet. Everybody pull out the spreadsheet. We've got on the ends of the table. And again, this is a sample of what my wife and I have been using since we're married. Right, babe? I'm gonna use the Dr. Day quote. Say amen when you can, baby. Amen. Say something. All right. All right. So there's a couple of principles that I want you to understand when it comes to any great budget. Okay. So number one, you see what comes first for us. Okay. And we have it automatically that 10% off top, whatever comes in is going to the Lord. Okay. And then what's next? Us. Okay. And we're going to talk about what that can be. That could be your retirement planning. That could be a couple of different things. Okay. Then here's the thing. Notice how I don't have just mortgage on here. I have the company, Freedom Mortgage. Okay. One of the good things about a budget is, guess what? If my wife needs to know the company and I'm not around, she can just go to Freedom Mortgage. Everybody follow that? So don't just have mortgage on there. Have the company that you're paying, because guess what? Now you're at a place where you know who the name is and the relationship. Okay? So this is the green area that you see here. These are going to happen every single month. All right, daycare. Oh, I can't wait till I elevate from that. Jesus. Yeah, amen, baby. Lord. Lawn care. My guy's name is Francisco. Does a good job on our yard. AT&T. We don't have just phone bill. We don't have that. We have the company that's associated with it. USAA, energy bill. Those are the things. Now, the purple that you see, these are one-time fees. Okay, so remember I talked about that traffic ticket? Perfectly, you pay for that one time. Okay, so your car registration, just had to pay mine. Tires on the car, if you have to get your taxes prepared, those type of things. If you're in a frat or sorority, those type of things. That's a one-time deal, right? And so you want to make sure on a monthly basis, you're putting that on your spreadsheet. Okay, and then last but not least, this is where you have a set budget of how much you are going to be spending. See that eating out? That's a real thing for some people. A G a month. Yeah, it's easy. Uber Eats, DoorDash, going out. It's easy to spend a G in a month now. Okay? I know our family, we got 3.5. We got a little one with kids meals. We can't spend nothing less than 50. Chick-fil-A is at least 35. Y'all feeling me? This real, right? So that adds up quickly. And we'll talk about, some ideas that we can do from a money perspective on all of these. But here's another thing. All right, let's keep going. So you have normal expenses that you have every single week. Then you have one-time fees. And then you have groceries, eating out, all the things that you need to have a limit to on the bottom. Okay, so whenever that G is gone, your eating out is done for the month. Okay, it's done. Out of there. All right, nails. If it's 151, you need to find another nail tech. You know what I mean? Okay. Hair, I ain't getting there with y'all. Facials, entertainment, shopping. I got that for 2 G's, Lord, but that's a real thing. Who Amazon is? They got deal. What is it? Amazon deal days or something like that? It's Prime Day. Yeah, see my wife, she getting on me. I ain't bought nothing. Did you buy something back? Anyway, so now here's another thing. Notice how I have amount due and the balance. Okay. Now I have this spreadsheet that has all the formulas already in there. If you want this spreadsheet, let me know. I'll definitely send it to you. Okay. Excuse me. But I have the number, the balance due, and then what you can do is you fill in the week in which you pay it. Okay. And then from there, you put your income down here. All right. So it tells you what it is for the month. And so it's all systemized. Now, a couple of other things. Notice I don't have $20 when it's really 18. I have the exact dollar amount. Okay. Let me round up to it. Now, give me 503 because that's how much USAA is. Okay. Give me, for tires, I don't know, no tire that's 75, 82. I don't know no tire that is, but let's go with it. But you notice how it's not a static number, it's a real number. Know the number. Okay. So any questions about this? This is some of the things that I want to make sure you understand about the concept of great budgeting. Any questions on that? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm looking at your budget report and I'm kind of comparing it to the one I use.
Yes, ma'am.
Question. When you have the week 1, 2, 3, and 4, are you putting in the amount once you pay it, or are you just putting in like the day of that week that
you're putting the amount,
the actual amount?
Yes.
Okay.
Great question. Because once I put, let's say for instance, I paid Freedom Mortgage, and I put that I did it in week 1, 2,500. This balance now comes to 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it tells me. So like for instance, Francisco, he comes twice a month and he's $100. If I put 50 for this week, it says I got 50 left in the month to pay it. So then I pay it in week 4. I put a 50 here, and then he's done.
Okay.
So that's how that works.
I have another question for
Yes,
you.
please.
So on my budget, I have like credit cards in there. I don't see that on yours. So do you have a separate one?
I do.
Use? Okay.
I do for the debts. Yes. And so we'll talk about that's going to be on the credit when we talk about credit, because we'll talk about everything from we talk about everything from Avalanche all the way down to what a debt snowball is, to paying them in order, all of that good stuff. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about the debt one.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
So we have our monthly credit card payments on there. Like our monthly credit card payments are on this budget sheet. It's just not on the sample one. But like the ones like our debt snowball is set to a side where all of them are there and which ones we are snowballing into.
Yep. Thank you, baby. All right. Yes, sir.
So on your groceries that you do, is that monthly or weekly? What?
This is monthly.
So if you go and you spend $250 this month, that next month, do you just only put 150 there to make out?
You absolutely do.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So like
if you overspend,
me and my wife, we get a certain allowance a piece each week. So say if I go over that allowance this week, well, that next week, whatever I went over, I deduct that what I'm supposed to get the following week. So I stay in line with my budget. It's my bad that I went over that week. So I just have less money to spend for me that following week. So we stay in budget.
Absolutely. No, good question. Good. Any other questions about this? Yes, sir.
Keisha, say that one more time. You said y'all have y'all credit on this one, but but y'all got another breakdown on another one too. Point to it.
So our spreadsheet is like, so this is what it looks like.
Okay,
this is a sample, but our actual budget sheet is like 3 pages.
I got you.
And so like it has the like credit cards that's due for that month and that amount. But like on a separate part of the budget, we have like all of our like credit cards, mortgage, and student loans in one box, because that's our debt that we're trying to get rid of.
Right.
And so that's our snowballing. Like, okay, we're gonna get rid of this one first, that first, and it's in order that way. But we do keep our credit cards on here that we have to do our minimal payment, our monthly minimal payments for.
So that's just the minimum. Or
so
do you decide how much you're gonna pay on each one and put it right there?
Great question. So first off, it's in the green. Okay, it's not a one-time fee. It's something that's recurring until we get rid of it, and then we take it off. So it's in the green. But to answer your question, it depends on what the snowball is telling us. So we're paying the exact same amount to debt every month until it's gone. Okay, so let's just say, for instance, we get rid of the smallest one. Once we get rid of the smallest one, we're not taking that money and spending it. We're reallocating it to the next debt. Okay. So we're still spending the same amount, but we're snowballing it. We do the snowball. Snowball works better for us. Great questions. Any other questions? Yes.
I was just curious, how often would you say that y'all are reevaluating your budget? So
Mm-hmm.
groceries are going up, let's say auto insurance premiums, you have to readjust.
Yeah.
Would you say quarterly?
Yeah. So it really is monthly. It really depends on what we're doing because sometimes we'll be out of town. Sometimes, and then that'll be a one-time fee. Like for instance, we went to Nashville. And so whenever we went to Nashville, a lot of our eating out went up and our entertainment went up because we went on vacation. And so we put that on one-time fees, but we reduced the amount that we're doing here. Okay. So it's active, it's flowing. So it's a reassessment every month that you're doing this. Yes.
So just to reiterate what the Thomases are saying. So basically, are you saying that you keep your debts, your full bulk debts,
Man, I should have put that on here.
on a totally separate spreadsheet?
No, it's on the same spread.
As far as like your credit card, like the credit card debt and the
Yeah. No.
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
all on one sheet. Y'all asking great. This is good. I wish there was a way that I could throw this to y'all. Yeah, we'll get it to you. We'll get it to you because we'll talk about the debt, but it's all on one spreadsheet. But right now we're just dealing with the basics. But yes, definitely having your debts on there is a part of it. So we have it pretty much. This is one area, and then over here is where our debt is. It's all on the same page. Okay. Yeah, I could just see it and I could just scroll over and it's all right there. Yeah, good questions. I didn't even think about that. I'm good. Thank y'all for doing that. That's good. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, let's keep going. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hopefully that helped. Okay. So before we get into the sheet, let's see here. Some money ideas. Okay. So one of the things that I had whenever we were growing up was the fact that we had evening worship. You got to go to evening worship. Hear the same sermon that you heard this morning. But you can't take communion again. You already took it. Y'all remember that? So don't take communion again because that's for the people who didn't have a chance. Now, I'm not knocking that because some people do work on Sundays and things of that nature, and that's good. However, we don't have that here. That ain't a part of our religion here. So Sundays are really good days for you to plan for the week and have it set, have a rhythm that you do it every single week. Okay. You get that Sunday meal, get that itis, and then get up, or if you watching the game, you can alter it, but absolutely have a rhythm to where you're talking about the week. Maybe it's not Sunday, maybe it's Saturday, right? For us, Saturday is soccer and all other stuff. It's kind of tough on that. So it's either Friday mornings when we wake up, I get paid, she gets paid, or it's a Sunday, but we have it to where we have it on the calendar. Okay. So it is so important that you're picking a time of day, a day and a time, to do your planning. Okay. So we talked about that. Don't go to the grocery store hungry. Don't go to the grocery store. Ooh, these cookies look good. Don't go to the grocery store hungry. Okay. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to buy things that are not outside, that are outside of what it is that you're preparing for the week. All right. So one of the things that's going crazy right now is groceries. Groceries are stupid right now. At one point in time, it was actually cheaper to eat out. During 2022, it was cheaper to eat out than it was for you to do groceries. No joke. So some of the things that you could do is definitely have a meal plan. Okay. Get 10 meals that are a staple in your household. Okay. Get 10 meals. All right. Those 10 meals can have variations. Okay. So, for instance, Sunday is spaghetti. Tuesday is tacos. Wednesday is a crock pot meal of some sort. Thursday is McAllister's. Okay. We even have that included there. Friday is homemade pizza. Saturday we freestyle. But there's a rhythm for how we do that, right? Okay. So having it planned out Even if you're eating out, okay, have it planned. Don't do the happenstance. Okay. So for instance, if you go to Costco, it is cheaper for you to get the bulk chicken. Get a big thing of chicken, because guess what you can do with chicken? You can do baked chicken, fried chicken, chicken pot pie, chicken noodle soup, chicken sandwiches, chicken Alfredo. Okay? So those things, as far as getting groceries, buying in bulk and being creative, can not only save your mind, but it save your money. Okay? All right, so that's some things about groceries. Entertainment, okay? Entertainment. Find some stuff that's free. Okay? Find some stuff that's free. You can go to, what is it Clyde Park? Clyde Warren. Y'all help me out. I ain't from Dallas. Y'all help me out. Clyde Warren. And they have, showings of Black Panther. You can walk around. They have maybe a food truck there, but it's free if you want to come and watch and lounge out. My wife does all that. I don't know nothing about that. I had to rely on her for that. But there's free entertainment that you can definitely do. You can have your neighbors over for game night. Okay? And some of those things that you can naturally do that don't cost anything, but just some mind space to be creative. Okay? Going to the park. That's a great thing. Get your exercise in. Get some vitamin D. Okay? All right. Now, self-grooming. Now, I can tell you about stories whenever I was working on my cousins when they were younger. I was trying to line their hair up and I messed it up. My nephew just did that to my other nephew. It's a part of the game. But now if I need to do a quick edge up, I got the clippers at the house. I can edge myself up. It saves me money. Okay, so instead of me going every week to the barber, I go every other week. Okay, so that saves you money. So different things that you can do to do what's called balance sheet neutral strategies. Everybody write this down. Balance sheet neutral strategies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to this budget. Okay. Now, here's the beautiful thing about being in the state of Texas. If you're not a part of a co-op, you have the power to choose on your energy. So, as frequently as you want to, challenge every single item that you have on your budget. Can we get better lawn care from someone else besides Francisco? Okay. Can we do a bundle on our streaming that will save us money? Do I need Stars and Netflix and Hulu and this and that? Do I really watch all of this stuff? And guess what? You can cancel and re-up. You know what I mean? Like, Power came out. You turn it on, $9.99. And then when Power is done, turn it off. Say, hey, cancel. You can always start and stop. But you have to be intentional about your budget. This is called balance sheet neutral strategies. Okay, so let me give you an explanation of something that real, and we'll and this will be the last thing that I share before we get into our work. Okay, wife and I had a storage with all my bachelor stuff. Paid $8. It was in that what was it? Climate controlled storage. Had all my stuff in there. We had cable at the time, and then I had a credit card bill that I was only paying maybe $35-$40 to. Okay, and I think the balance on there was something like $1,000. Excuse me. In order for us to reallocate money, what we did was we said, you know what? Let's sell all the stuff that's inside of my bachelor. Let's sell my chocolate couches. Sell them. No, I had a little play at something. Sell those couches. Use that money to pay off the credit card. Now I don't have that $87 bill, and the credit card is gone. Then on top of that, instead of doing the cable, we now went to streaming. We went from paying something like $400 for all of that down to $134. So that's balance sheet neutral strategy. I want neutral strategies. I want to have the same lifestyle, but there are some items that's on my budget that I really don't need. How can I cut it and reallocate? Reallocate, not cut it. Language is everything. Everybody say reallocate. When you reallocate, it means that it's going somewhere. When you cut it, it means that money is just willy-nilly. Okay? But reallocating does what? It says that this is sanctioned for something else. Okay? So let's do some work, okay? And then we'll play a game. Oh yeah, choice is gonna be fun. All right. So everybody has a budget. Everybody has a budget in front of them. I want everybody to put 5 things on there. 5 things that you know you pay. Okay? Let's take 5 minutes to do that. For my kids, I want you to be involved. If your parents or if your people are there, y'all go over there. Because y'all, and one of the things that I want you parents to know is that your kids need to be involved. Your kids need to be involved because they need to know, hey, it's not in the budget. It's not in the budget this week. And there's no shame in that. It means that we have restraint. It means that we are tracking these things. Okay? So when your kids are of age talking about, oh, I want to do X, ain't in the budget. And they're like, okay. And then guess what happens then? Hey, Dad, do we have a little bit extra in the budget to do X, Y, Z? Now we're creating a rhythm. All right? So get your kids involved. Okay? All right. Now, while you're writing those, do you know the dates that they are due? Do you know the dates that they're due? And if you brought your budget, awesome stuff. You should have the date it's due. Okay? So what is that due date? Next thing is, what is the specific dollar amount? Not, oh, it's like 150. No, it's 147.95. Okay? What is the specific number? All right. So I want us to do this exercise to get in a rhythm of, okay, I know I paid this on this date and it's this much. I don't pay mortgage, I pay Freedom Mortgage. Okay? How many people have a budget? Raise your hand. No shame. So most people here. Okay. All right. Now, if you have a budget, did some of the things that we just talked about, did it help a little bit with you fine-tuning your budget? Did it help a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, y'all can say no. I'm not. Yeah, a lot. Good. Okay. After you do that, use your phones. Everybody got a calculator on your phone. Tally up those things. And now you know the amount that you need to pay. Okay. But this is a proper way for you to do a budget. All right. So, for instance, who gets paid every other week? Okay. So most people have their rent and mortgage that's due at the beginning of the month. Am I correct? Okay. So what you can do then is you can say, hey, the big item is on this week and some of the little items on the other week. Okay. Call your people, say, hey, listen, I need it to change to this date, even if it's a credit card. You can call your credit card company and say, hey, listen, the way that I get paid, I need to move this due date. And they will, great. We can do it. I've done it. Okay. All right. So any questions about budgeting? Any questions? Please ask. Everybody feel like they can go back to their budget and make the adjustments that they need? Yeah, come on now. Y'all talk back to me. Yes? Okay. How many feel like you got a good rhythm already? You got a good rhythm. Good. So some of the things that we'll talk about in the next class are going to make even more sense because guess what? We know what we have. And now we can move into how we can do greater things for the future. Let me give you a fun fact. 84% of people will get to age 67. Okay. So that's 84% of all people in the world will get to age 67. Okay. In the United States, it's a lot higher. Advancement of medicine is a lot higher here. So people, typically don't check out before then. Okay, some do. But here's the thing. You have an 84% chance from a global perspective to get to retirement. And do you know that so many people are not ready? You don't know your number. You don't know what your expenses should be. You don't know what you should pay off prior to getting into it. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about whenever it comes to retirement planning and those things that you have to be hip to. Because here's the thing. We talked about inflation last week, right? So that inflation number is going to be crazy, especially with the value of the dollar going down and things going up. $1 million now is not $1 million what it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, $1 million was a good chunk. Now, $1 million, I can spend that in a day. No joke. Okay? So $1 million is not the same, and it won't be the same 20 years from now. $1 million 20 years from now will have the buying power of 650,000. Okay? So everything from pensions, which are dying out and they're becoming dinosaurs, all the way to you having to create your own cash flow. We're going to be talking about that because here's the thing. A lot of people are going to be working until they die. They don't need to. It's because they have failed to plan. Okay? So we're going to be talking about that, but this is the groundwork. Groundwork is how much money do I have coming in? How much money am I spending? Okay? All right. Let's break it into 3 groups. Oh, we got perfect time, 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to break into 3 groups. Just right here. Boom, boom, and boom. All right? We're going to play a game called Choices. Okay? So, here's the rules to the game. There's 5 rounds. All right? You have to pick one choice every single round. Okay? And there needs to be a group consensus of what you pick. All right? Each person or each group is going to have $5,000. $5,000. All right? And this will make sense here in a minute. Once you move to the next round, you cannot change your choice. All right? Next, once you're out of money, you're done. Okay? So any questions about the rules? Yes? So each group, you have to give a group consensus on what y'all going to purchase. And y'all got $5,000. Okay? So this is a group, this is a big group, and this is a big group. All right? Any other questions? All right, let's get to it. Round 1. Ready? Oh, man. Look, y'all stay here. Y'all stay here. It's okay. All right, here's round 1. Gourmet meal for $250 or eating at home. I think this is going to be an easy one. It's going to be an easy one. All right. What y'all say, everybody? So what y'all say? This group? Okay. All right. Well, we might have some good fun. Okay. All right. So each group is only spending $15. Not bad. All right. 15. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right. Everybody eating at home, we're good. Round 2. New phone or fix the screen? Y'all making this a little too easy. I'm hearing the less. Okay. Yeah. This is the second choice. You got 5 choices. This is 2 out of 5. This is round 2 out of 5. Okay. So what did this group choose? Fix the screen. What this group choose? Any objections? What this group choose? So what we gonna do? Okay. Somebody tapping the mic. All right, fix it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Round 3. Y'all ready? New fence or painted? I got an objection. Yes. Now. Oh no, it's out of there. This is just for the game. No, I know. Huh? No. Nah, 1 or 2. Huh? The what? What'd you say? Lowest quote. Sure. 3 G's. The fence is out of whack. It's outdated. You've had it for over 15, 20 years. It's about to fall apart. Yeah. I got my first op. Yeah. All right. All right, here we go. We go pick. This is the first one that has a little opposition. Okay. All right, here we go. What did this group say? Group 1. What we gonna do? All right. Okay. So we got new fence over here. Here we go. 3 G's. They said we gonna do it. All right. What we doing over here? Y'all painting it? Y'all putting lipstick on the pig. That's all right. Okay. All right. So this group. All right. What this group doing? Oh, yeah. What we doing? All right. So in this group, raise your hand if you said painting.
Hey, all the men are saying new fence.
Because we know. All right, who says new fence? Raise your hand. Oh, y'all half and half. That's half and half. That's crazy. Do paint the fence? Paint the fence? All right, so they're gonna go new fence. Okay, all right. All right. This is getting good. We almost done. Here we go. Round 4. Here we go. New truck, down payment for the $5,000 or repair the car. All right. So, just to say what the numbers are, these two groups, 3165 is what you spit so far. This group, you're at 415, excuse me, 415. $415. Okay. So now, mind you, this is an older car, right? It's an older car. It's got high miles, and you've been putting money into it. But this is a down payment for $5,000. These cars, Ford and Chevy. I'm a Chevy man myself, you know. All right, so what this group say? Now, unfortunately, the group can't do a new truck. Y'all repair the car. Okay. So it's $1,250, $685. Okay. And what we doing here? $1,250. All right, and what we say over here? What we say? Yeah, that's all you can do. Repair the car. Ain't it though? All right. Okay, so you got 685, and y'all got a lot left. 33.95. I like that. Go ahead, girl. All right, here we go. Round 5. This is it. Y'all ready? Boom. Just pay for the airfare. Go to Fiji for 6 nights. So here's the thing. Group 2, y'all the only ones that can actually do this. So y'all going? Y'all going to Fiji, right? And you got the tickets. So I'm glad that you said that. You're bringing me to our next thing. So real quick, it's 8 o'clock. It's time. I put a timer on my phone, so it's over here beeping. This is also the time I take my vitamins, but hey, who's counting? So here's the principles, okay? There's always going to be something that's important to you that's not important to other people, okay? There's always going to be that. But if you don't know what's in front of you, those expenses that I just shot at you are real. Got to get a new fence, if you're a homeowner. New car or down payment. Which one, right? So what's important? Sometimes another thing, a principle about having choices is there's always going to be something else that comes up. It's a part of life. And so one of the things that we'll talk about in our next meeting is the emergency fund and how in some cases it's more important than retirement fund. Okay. So opportunity cost. This is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. So instead of painting the fence, we bought a fence, but we can't go to Fiji, right? But that's okay, right? Because everybody says what's important, but you said, we're going to paint it, we're going to get it how we get it, and then we go to Fiji, right? So you picked. Right. So here's the one thing. Well, y'all crazy. Here's the one thing about finances, okay? Real quick, because time is spent. It's 8:01. I want to be intentional about time. So there's always going to be choices in your purchases, okay? Let me give y'all a real thing. I've been getting into shoes lately, and I'm like, look, no, we got to be disciplined. But these shoes fly. Oh, they bad. But we have to be disciplined. We have to set an example on what's more important. What's the opportunity cost? I got shoes. I'm good. These nice. They feel good. There's not a need there. So there's always going to be the opportunity whenever we make our purchases. So what's next? Next class, I will not be here, unfortunately. I'll be on a business trip. So Dr. Green, our very own, will be teaching next week. And so definitely come back out. I know it's going to be a great class. If you know Dr. Green, you know that you're going to get some meat, okay? Some good substance for your life, okay? And then the next class, whenever I do come back, we are going to be talking about the structure of your planning. Retirement planning, estate planning. We're going to be talking about some of these things because the people of God need to be able to leave money behind, okay? A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And a part of it is understanding when you don't, you're now moving the scratch line nowhere, okay? Talk about stories like Percy Miller, also known as Master P. His grandfather gave him 25 grand whenever he passed away. He turned it into 250 million. Okay, because not only did he leave him the money, he left him what to do and how to multiply. And so a lot of times whenever we leave our next generation's money, what ends up happening is the money is there, but it's blown because there's something that was not solved while you were alive. Okay, something was not solved. There was something that they weren't appeased. There was something that wasn't there. Okay, and so they're now trying to cover up by utilizing this money to gain things and that thing. And those things are vanity. They're not going to solve the hurt or the emptiness that's inside. So we're going to talk about a lot of those different things and how it's important not to only leave a legacy, but to instruct the legacy. Okay, so that's next class. So thank y'all so much. I'm going to give it back over to the elders. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.